Hello, everybody. I'm Dennis Champagne, your city manager, and I'd like to welcome you to our first edition of Small Town Chat. Today, we're going to talk about an issue that nobody really wants to talk about, and that is rodents in our community. It will give us, this program will give us an opportunity to learn about what goes on in our community and give us an opportunity to educate the public on what we, your public servants, are doing to make Centerline a better place to live, work, and play. Today's topic, as I said, is regarding rodents. I have invited two guests with us here today to discuss this issue. So I'm pleased to welcome Karen Petrick, who is one of our two code enforcement officers here in Centerline. Karen is on the streets dealing with this problem on a daily basis and also other property maintenance issues. And thank you very much for joining us, Karen. My second guest is our mayor, Bob Benson. Mayor Benson, thank you very much for taking the time to discuss this issue with us and in learning how we can help as a community to address rodents in our community. So, Karen, is it true that most communities have a rodent problem?
I would say that most communities do have the problem, especially densely populated communities as Centerline.
And I know that, we do receive a map in the city offices from our rodent contractor, our baiting contractor here in the city. Especially, we get that map identifying the properties where rodents are located in the community and or where bait boxes have been placed. Is there a problem citywide with rodents, or are we simply talking about specific neighborhoods?
There are neighborhoods where there's a more concentrated, bigger problem, but pretty much it is all over and throughout the community with the industrial businesses. Homes.
Okay. So if a resident property owner sees signs of rodents, what should they do?
They can call the code enforcement at 586-757-6834.
Okay.
We record their location. We go out, we inspect the property to see if they actually have rodents habitating on their property. So we check for holes, tunnels. If sometimes people see a rodent, but it actually isn't staying on their property, it might just be passing through. We do
Right.
not bait those.
Right.
But otherwise, we do, find the cause. And if we go there and see things that should be abated first before we bait, we give them a list of things they need to do first.
Okay. So you're providing educational material to help them help us.
Right.
Okay. Yes. So can the property owner get help with the baiting?
Residential property owners can get bait boxes placed on their property at no cost. Business owners, which does include landlords renting single-family homes or multifamily homes, must bait their own properties or pay for the city to bait it. If we see that baiting is needed on a property, we will advise the property owner as to their responsibility with regards to a cost.
So Mayor Benson, I know that code enforcement has kept us abreast of the rodent problem in the city. But are there some things that our residents can do and business owners can do to help rid the community of this problem?
Absolutely. Rodents, like any animal, go where the food is. So if there's food available, that's where they're going to be. And we have a lot of possibilities of food sources around our houses and our buildings, like the garbage and stuff like that. If you have food outside, even dog food, that could cause a problem because rodents will eat that. Water outside, even if you just happen to keep your recycle box outside and throw a pizza box out there and there's something left in it,
Right.
That's always a nice little smorgasbord for them too.
What about ground feeding of animals such as squirrels and birds? Is that allowed?
Well, it's funny because a lot of people like to do that, especially my kids and my wife. They think that it's nice to have little animals coming around, and birds are pretty and squirrels are cute and all that other stuff. But the problem is that rodents like that food too. And if it's out there, they're going to come by and eat it. And so that's why we do have a law against feeding birds and animals. And that's basically just to try to keep the rodent population down.
Well, that's good to know. So there is currently a law restricting ground feeding and bird feeders?
Yes.
Okay.
Because, squirrels and birds will knock the bird food to the ground, and that's
Right.
where the rodents can come and get it. And bird food, bird seed, high in protein. Rodents seem to like things that are high in protein.
Right.
So that causes some problems.
Karen, what other things draws rodents into our neighborhoods?
Well, there's one thing that can cause a serious rodent problem, and that's something we never like to talk about, but it can make an impact on reducing the risk of rodents invading our neighborhood.
What is that?
That is animal feces. I know no one likes to hear that, but if it's not picked up and properly disposed of, and it can be dogs or cat feces, you risk a rodent issue because they'll eat that. That's like a steak to them.
Sure. So keep your yard clean, Mayor, and we won't have a problem?
Well, it definitely helps because rodents do, and I've said so at council before, when it's the cold months and you don't like to go out there and clean up your dog feces and stuff like that.
Right.
That's one source of food that they have that in most cases you don't usually have in the middle of the winter.
Right.
Sources of food. So, yeah, if you keep your yards clean, garbage containers need to stay capped when they're in your yard, and as much as possible, and try not to throw any food. Keep your recycling bin in your garage or in places where rodents can't get to it.
Great. Karen, you mentioned previously when you see a problem, you provide the property owner with information on rodent control. What else do you do?
Our first step in the process is education. I leave with them a sheet that explains
Right.
everything about rodents. If the property owner continues to violate the blight ordinance, then we will issue a 10-day warning. After that, you can get a ticket if you don't address the issue, and
Right.
that is a misdemeanor. At that point, you have to appear in front of the district court judge, and if before you come to court, you finally correct the issue. If it's a first offense, we will have the ticket dismissed.
So if it's a repeated violations, though, will it be dismissed if they clean up the problem?
Probably not.
So they would still have to appear if they're
Yes,
repeatedly
they have to
having
appear, yes.
issues with blight and
Right.
property maintenance and so
there
forth.
can be fines associated, and it is a misdemeanor.
Understood. So Mayor Benson, the city will work with the property owner to gain compliance. What about our senior citizens and our disabled residents who are unable to correct property maintenance issues that are contributing to rodent issues? Is there help for them?
Yeah, of course there is. And it's a team effort. I mean, the citizens and the city to work together to get this done. Nobody wants to have these rodents in their yard. They don't want them running up and down their street. They don't want them around their children. So it's really a team effort. We're not looking to hang anybody out to dry. We're not looking to punish anybody for
Right.
something that they, when they're trying to comply. So, there are people out there that do have difficulty taking care of their yards and doing the stuff that needs to be done, and there is stuff available for them out there. There's senior citizens. For senior citizens, there's Macomb County Chores Program, which we donated some money to from the CDBG grants.
That's correct. Yes.
Seniors can get help with their chores. Their phone number there is 586-469-5228. There's also Interfaith Volunteer Caregivers, which is right here in Centerline on River, and they will contact people. If people contact them, they will ascertain whether they can help them or not on a case-by-case basis. I talked to them today.
Very good. So I'm guessing they need to be income qualified for these programs?
They do, but if they don't qualify, there's other nonprofit groups,
Right.
local area agency on aging, Catholic Charities of Southeastern Michigan, and like I said, Interfaith Volunteer Caregivers.
Right.
They may be able to assist as well. And, family members are also nice.
Right.
You know, hopefully most of us have children out there, and if you have elderly parents, or if you have elderly grandparents that need your help, please give them a hand.
So what if they can't get help from the programs, from the nonprofits? They don't have family members. They don't have somebody to help them out. What then?
Well, it would be a non-compliance issue with the city, and we'd have to deal with it. But really, help your neighbors out. That's what we're here for. I mean, help each other out. Let's try to clean up this problem, push these rodents out of the city.
So in the end, Karen, this problem is a community-wide issue. And if everyone pitches in and does their part, we can rid our city of rodents, right?
Absolutely. The city will do its part identifying, accessing, educating, baiting, and enforcement. But without the community being a part of the solution, we will not be successful in ridding our neighborhoods, commercial and industrial district of rodents.
And Mayor, we know what the problem is and what property owners can do to help. What more can the city do?
Well, we do have a program in place with the rodent control company, and we've asked for a monthly update. So we're going to have them come in and tell us what the progress is, how the population of rodents in the city is looking, where the worst parts are, and what they're doing to make sure that they clear it out. We all need to work together to eliminate the blight and get the areas cleaned up so that there's no place for these rodents to hang out, and live, and dwell. And we're going to continue to work on that.
Okay. Well, that's great, Karen and Mayor Benson. I want to thank both Karen and Mayor Benson for joining me today here on this edition of Small Town Chat. Thanks for taking the time out of your busy schedules to be a part of Small Town Chat. That's it for us for this segment of Small Town Chat. Join us next month when we'll learn more about Parks and Recreation programs and activities and upcoming events such as the Centerline Independence Festival. And this year's celebration is our 80th anniversary, so we are really looking forward to it. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next month.